Well, hello, how y'all doing? It's Heather and Phil, and we are here in downtown Chattanooga at the corner of Cherry and 7th Street. And we're gonna wander around and do some street photography today. I'm using the Z6 and the old 14-24 f2.8G for vlogging, and I may do some ultra wide street photography with it. Heather has a project she wants to do all about doors. She wants to take a picture of a few really pretty doors here in the greater downtown Chattanooga area. And so we're gonna work on that, and then we may go get something to eat. Ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okie dokie, let's go.
So just right down the road from where we made that first clip, I found this mirror coming out of a parking garage that you can look over at and see if there's anything coming before you ease out into the road. And I thought it'd be fun to take a photograph of myself and Heather in that mirror with the ultra wide lens.
Okay, so Heather's using her, there goes somebody blowing the horn. Heather's using her 18-400 to make a photograph of the door of the famous Dome building across this intersection of 8th and Georgia Avenue. It's a really cool building. Heather and I have both been making shots here across this intersection. This is a 14mm horribly up angle shot, so there's going to be a lot of distortion, but still a kind of a neat angle to shoot this building from right here in this intersection.
Okay, I put that arrow at the end of the last clip to point to this door. This is the Carnegie Library, or the old library building. This is Heather's photograph of that door. She didn't like the photos that she made of the Dome building, so we didn't use those at all, but I really like this photograph of the door of the old library in Chattanooga. And this is my photograph, a 24mm shot with the 14-24. This is just down the hill on Georgia Avenue a little bit. You can see the Dome building there in the distance, and the shorter building slightly closer is the old library building. And then the slightly larger building a little closer than that is the Tomorrow building. And that's fun because there used to be a bar there years ago called Yesterday's.
Looks like Heather's working on another shot here. We're on ML King, and this is Miller Plaza, Waterhouse Pavilion. Looks like she might be getting a picture of that. Right over here is the new Miller Park that they made. Are you getting it?
Yeah, I wish I could do an HDR, but I think it'll be okay. I think I can pull the highlights out of the sky.
Here's Heather's photograph of the Waterhouse Pavilion at Miller Plaza. And while this doesn't conform to her let's get pictures of doors strategy, it's still a beautiful photograph, and I love the way she captured it, and the sky in the background, and you can see the sky through some of the glass in the top of the building. It's a really pretty small building in Chattanooga.
All right, now I have Heather parked right in the middle of Broad Street, and she's working on photographs of the front of the James building right across the street, which is the #1 door she wants to get. It's got these beautiful flags, and there's nice lights inside. We got here just at the right time for light, it looks like. So how's your shot going, Heather? You liking this?
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Awesome. Okay, so now Heather's making 1,000,000 shots while those flags are sticking straight out. That's the USA flag and the Tennessee flag there. Might be familiar with this area. You can see the front of the Tivoli Theater right down there. And now Heather's working on the next set of doors here at the James building. And looks like it's about to storm. Look at the trees. Also, we parked right here one time under all these trees, and there were like 1,000 European starlings that decided to roost there while we were in playing trivia at the restaurant. And when we came out, the whole car was covered in bird poop.
Okay, so this is the door that spawned the idea for Heather to do her door project. We always love looking across Broad Street and seeing the front of the James building. We think it's really beautiful, and it was so great that suddenly the wind picked up, although we got rained on because of the wind picking up. But it was cool to see the flags blowing, so you can see the flags really well, and you can read the James Building logo above the doors. If the flags are hanging down, sometimes they block some of that. So even though we got rained on and I had to roll Heather in the rain for about 3 or 4 blocks in the wheelchair, it was still awesome to get this windy photograph that Heather made of the front of the James Building.
Okay, so we just ate right here at Unknown Caller, a little bar that used to be called London Calling, and in those days the telephone booth entrance was red like a London phone booth, but they've painted it black now that it's called Unknown Caller. But they still have really great hot dogs and lots of, they don't have a lot of beer here, but they had some I could figure out, and then Heather had some margaritas and a Mandalorian based beverage that was cocktail, excuse me, that is based on the Mandalorian Star Wars series. So we enjoyed it, and I made some really weird photos inside using my Russian Helios lens 44-2, the 58mm f2.
All right, so here are some of my weird photographs inside London Calling. This is Heather lit basically only with that candle, and you can see kind of rule of thirds on the left side of the frame. You can see lots of lens flare off of that candle, and that's a characteristic of the Helios lens that I have yet to capture in an appealing way. And here is a photograph of my tiny Miller High Life pony, and Heather was having a margarita. And this is also lit by candlelight. Look, it's 1/8 of a second f2 ISO 1800, and you can see some of the famous Helios swirly bokeh in the crystal glass in the background there. And then here is another Helios 44-2 shot. This is the candles that were on the bar. It's so dark inside of Unknown Caller, and the bokeh-fied lights in the background is the bottles above the bar. And so there was that, and then after we left there, we went back down to a place where we'd made some photographs and another video, and I made this photograph of Heather. She is standing. She's able to stand now and get out of the wheelchair and off the crutches. She stood for a little while, and I lit her with 2 cell phone lights as this car was coming down, and look at the crazy lens flare and the bokeh-fied lights.
And now we're probably going to head on home because the, what app is that? Dark Sky says it's supposed to rain really good in about 5 minutes. So we've had enough of rain tonight. So I think we're going to head on home. So thanks for watching the Heather Boyd Door series, episode 1. We appreciate it. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.